All right, welcome to Talking Investing. Today I want to do our Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner update. This is a weekend edition. This is the end of a long weekend in the United States and Canada. So it's Monday and we are not trading. So I want to go through what happened with the Bitcoin miners last week, what happened with Bitcoin last week, and then let's take a look at what's happened so far over the weekend so we can set up the trade for Monday. If you're new to the channel, we cover Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time. So if you have not yet subscribed, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, you can smash the like button. Lastly, if you want to support the channel, you can hit the join button. It's right next to the subscribe button. If you don't see a join button, there should be a link in the pinned comment below. Members get a lot of extra content, and we do a members only live stream. There's also a private Discord for the members. So we have a lot of fun, and like I said, it does help support the channel. So I appreciate that very much. Let's talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. This first chart is week over week for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. So the first thing I want to point out here is you're going to see a gold line, and that is Bitcoin. Bitcoin was up 15% last week. So it was an extremely healthy week for Bitcoin. We're going to talk more about where Bitcoin sits later. It sits on the verge of a potential another breakout, but there's a big hurdle to jump over between now and then. In the meantime, you'll see a 15% move to the upside. You will see some Bitcoin miners that had big moves, but in general, I would say most of these miners were somewhere between a 1x and a 2x leverage on that. So that is really a little bit of underperformance. In other words, I look more for a 3x leverage. So while it was a good week for the Bitcoin miners, I do still think they underperformed in general. And there's a reason why. And when we take a look at the Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame, I think you're going to see what that reason is. And there's the potential for these to run up next week. Okay, so Iris Energy was up 113% week over week. That is a gigantic move. They had specific news. From there, from Core Scientific on down, you'll see it ranged from 31% down to 16%, and then Cleanspark was 15%, so that was performed equally to Bitcoin, and Hive was 14%, so that was 1% less than Bitcoin, and then we have some underperformers. DMG Blockchain was in the green, up 3%, but that is definitely underperformance versus a Bitcoin, which was up 15%. And then we had 4 Bitcoin miners that were actually in the red for the week on a week where Bitcoin had a very strong week, up 15%. So Wolf, Argo Blockchain, Gree, and Mawson, stock ticker MIGI, those were all in the red for this week. Now, some of those have had massive runs up, so we'll look at some more charts that might put this into better perspective. But to me, those underperformed. Again, sometimes there's a reason for that, so please, none of this is financial advice. Please do your due diligence if you get interested in one of these Bitcoin miners, because there is a long story. All of these Bitcoin miners have a different business model on how they operate, and all of them are at a very different point in their maturity level and their liquidity level. Okay, so this is the year to date, and you're going to see this looks very different. This is an extremely green chart. So the Bitcoin miners have had an incredible run so far in 2023. And again, it's only been about 6 or 7 weeks, so there's a long way to go, but it's been very encouraging. You can see Bitcoin itself in gold. You can see Bitcoin's up 51% year to date. That is a monstrous move to the upside in a short period of time. But we know with cryptocurrencies and with Bitcoin, these are the types of moves that we can expect. And because the Bitcoin miners are leverage plays on Bitcoin, we can expect even bigger moves from the Bitcoin miners. Now, in 2022, Bitcoin had a very difficult year. So for the Bitcoin miners, that meant outsized moves to the downside. These stocks were down between 90 and 99%, all of them in 2022. However, we are now seeing the reverse happen. You can see at the top of this chart, year to date, and again, this is 6 or 7 weeks in, Digihouse is up 383%, Core Scientific's up 371%, Cypher is up 239%, Iris Energy is up 200%. So that's 4 stocks that are up more than 200%. Those are all more than a 4x leverage play on Bitcoin, as Bitcoin was up 51% in that same period of time. The rest of these you can see were in the 2 to 3x leverage, so some of these I think still may be due to run more, and some of these are lagging behind. So let's just go through a few of the other ones. Bitfarms was up 152%. That's almost exactly a 3x leverage on Bitcoin so far this year to date. So I think that's probably just about standard. Bit Digital, same thing at 148%. The 2 biggest Bitcoin miners by market cap are Marathon, and that's up 125% year to date, and Riot is the largest, and that's up 94% year to date. If we look at Cleanspark, Cleanspark's only up 66% year to date versus Bitcoin 51%. In my opinion, that is lagging behind. these few down here, CleanSpark, Stronghold, Argo, Blockchain, Any, that are in the 60s and 70s, that's definitely underperformance versus their peers, you can see. Now, it's hard to complain because even with CleanSpark, it's up 66% on the year, so it's having a great year. I believe there's more potential upside in a company like CleanSpark, so, that's why I use all these charts together. I try to show you guys pieces of the puzzle in as many different ways as I can because opportunities jump out in different ways when we look at different graphs. Now, lastly, you're going to have TeraWulf. TeraWulf is in the red so far this year. They're down 5%. So TeraWulf actually did do a major restructuring of their debt as well. It's my personal opinion that this is way oversold right now. I did buy into this as a buying opportunity, but again, not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and make your own decisions when buying because these are all extremely, extremely volatile companies, and these are all, I would say, considered high-risk investments. In August of 2022, Bitcoin rallied up to $25,000. Bitcoin over this weekend did get up to $25,000 several times, and we are hanging around in that neighborhood. Whereas Bitcoin was within 1%, all but one of these Bitcoin miners are lagging drastically behind Bitcoin. So we did experience massive leverage to the downside, and I think there are some in here that are going to experience a lot of leverage to the upside if Bitcoin continues to get healthy, because you can see these are way oversold in comparison to Bitcoin. Now, some of these companies be careful of because they've had massive overhauls of the way they conduct business since last August. So for instance, Core Scientific, which is down 90% from where it was last time Bitcoin was at $25,000, they filed for Chapter 11, so that's its own story. But as I go up the list, I look at others where I struggle to find why. For instance, Bitfarms is down 52% compared to where it was the last time Bitcoin was at $25,000. So again, I'm just looking for outliers here. I'm looking for things that jump out at me that don't make sense, that are worth looking into. These are things worth putting on your watch list. So to me, companies like Bitfarms down 52%, CleanSpark down 51%, Riot is down 37% versus Bitcoin, which is down 1%. Marathon is down 59% and Bitcoin's down 1%. So some of these, there may be gigantic opportunities in. So obviously, you guys need to decide for yourselves. So know your miner if you're going to make an investment. But to me, this board screams, if you can find them, I believe there must be several opportunities in here that are lagging this far behind Bitcoin over the last 7 months. Last thing I want to just show you is straight up market cap of each company. And the reason I want to show you this is you're going to see there's two companies that are far and away the largest. Right now, Riot's market cap is 1.1 billion. Marathon's is 900 million. These two have always been in first and second place. They oftentimes switch positions, but together, Riot and Marathon have been in first and second place from a market cap standpoint for a long time. They also have by far the most institutional adoption, but you're going to see Cypher has moved way, way, way up this list. It is now in third place at $470 million. So despite the fact that it is way down off of its lows, proportionally, it has run up a lot more than these other companies. The other thing I wanted to point out is there's still all these companies down here under $50 million. These are not even micro cap stocks. They are nano cap stocks. So when I look at a company like Stronghold trading at $28 million, oftentimes you see a lot of flashy thumbnails, 5x, 10x, 20x, and those types of things do happen in the Bitcoin mining sector. They have already happened, some of them this year. We've had multiple runs of 5x or greater just in the last month and a half this year. So when you have nano cap companies like Stronghold, it's now a $28 million company. This is a company that's down over 95%. So even if it was to 10x, it would still only move somewhere up into the middle of the pack. So I just want to round it out by looking at Bitcoin on the 1-day time frame. And I just want to look at a few things. You're going to see this orange line is where Bitcoin was when the equity markets closed on Friday. Bitcoin was trading at about 24,500. Bitcoin's currently at about 24,800. So remember, we talked about that $25,000 mark that Bitcoin hit back in August of 2022. Well, you can see that is this purple line right here, and you can see we have tested this now several times. So far as of trading today, we've got to 25,128. So we are really, really pushing this 25,200 mark. and we seem to be hanging out around 25,000. So one of two things is going to happen. We're either going to break through this line of resistance or get rejected. We've spent several days here. I'm just going to show you two things really quickly that I'm going to be looking for overnight tonight. Number one, this is the RSI on the daily time frame. So you're going to see the RSI on February 15th was at 68.2. Right now, today, it's at 65.5. One of the things that I would like to see is for the daily RSI to set a higher high. It's been setting a series of lower lows, but I think it got a chance to reset. And if it can run up past that 68 that we were at 5 days ago, that would start a new trend. That would be a bullish sign. So that's the first thing I'm looking for. One of the other things that I'm looking for has already happened. This is the MACD on the 1 day time frame. So you'll see we did have a bullish crossover 4 days ago. So we have 4 days in a row here where the histogram is in the green. We had that bullish crossover. We've had nice price action, but we seem to be running into a sell wall at 25,000. So I do think that's what the next move in Bitcoin is all about. Are we going to get through this sell wall at 25,000 and move to the upside? And, you know, as I look at the MACD, we've had a nice bullish crossover and we have some nice momentum, some bullish momentum going. So that tells me that that is possible. And again, as we look at the daily RSI, if we can beat that 68 that the RSI hit about 5 days ago and get back up to 70 and maybe make a run, you can see we were all the way up at 89 a month ago on the daily RSI. So there is a lot of room to run to the upside from recent history. Just so that you know, from a historical perspective, that is extremely high. So this was one of the big run-ups of all time in the RSI, but Bitcoin is in a major run right now. This rally is about 60% right now, so we don't know if it's going to take the next leg up or if we're going to get stalled here. So that's what I will be waiting to see. I think if we can close a daily candle above, somewhere above maybe 25,300 or 25,400, and we can get that RSI maybe back up over 70, then I think we have a very good chance of running up another maybe $3,000 or $4,000. So that's what I'll be paying attention for. That's what's going on. That's what happened with Bitcoin last week. That's what happened with the Bitcoin miners last week. Remember, if you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if you could smash the like button, it helps the channel out a lot. And you can support the channel by hitting the join button. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.